further ado, we can get started. So as you can see, we're man, and we're just happy to get started. Honestly, like most people know you as a rapper, but we're connecting with you from a non-profit perspective. So for those that don't know, why don't you tell us about your organization, Swerving Through Stress?
Man, Swerving Through Stress was something I started back in 2018, I believe, almost 2019. And it was really, I did it because that was around the time that I started to like get into really mental health and started to do therapy myself. And I launched it while I was going to give like free therapy for 150 kids like in need, and like kids who might have been suffering from anxiety, contemplating suicide, victims of gun violence and stuff like that. And I was going to provide like a free therapy session for 150 kids, and I launched it on my Instagram, and literally like probably the first few hours, I think I had like over 1,000 kids sign up. I think it was probably anywhere from like 1,000 to like 5,000 kids that signed up, and that's when I knew like it was something that was like like needed in the community. So after that, I started to like get more into it because I was learning about mental health myself. Doing therapy, and I started to like get more in the community and talk to kids about what they actually were suffering from. And it's so destigmatized in the community, where as it's normal, people get shot, people witness murders, people you know endure so much trauma, and then the next day it's like it never happened. They go back to school, they gotta go to basketball practice, and they expect them to like function on a normal level. You know what I'm saying? And people never really get treated for what we feeling, and that's what made me really like dive into it. And it was more important to me than really, what I'm saying, the music at the time, because I felt so, what I'm saying, connected. I felt connected to those children because I got shot when I was 16 years old. I seen my first murder when I was 9 years old, man. And I was I thought I was normal in a sense because everybody around me was feeling the same way. Everybody around me was experiencing the same thing. And once, I actually use my resources and put a spotlight on it of what was going on. And a lot of people started to, like get connected in a way, like to it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, and that's for real. Having your album titled like PTSD, that makes sense, right? You really witnessed and experienced a lot even at a young age. So I'm really glad that you were able to find an outlet not only just through music, but through this nonprofit to really give back to your community.
Right. Yeah. See, like music, like that was like my first form of therapy. Like I used to go to the studio and just really rap about what I was feeling. And like I just said this a couple days ago, it would almost seem as if like artists like myself and other artists coming up from like similar backgrounds and you know urban communities, it would almost seem like we were glorifying it, you know what I'm saying? But we really were just like talking about our experiences, and from a standpoint of trying to, let people know what was going on. And when I started to like rap and get serious about, what I'm saying, rapping and making music, I didn't, I really didn't, I didn't think as far as me actually, touching so many people, like touching millions of people across the world. I wasn't, I'm not gonna lie, when I started rapping, I really didn't think it was gonna get this big. I was really just doing it because it was my passion at the time, you know what I'm saying? And I never wanted it to seem like I was glorifying like negativity or glorifying violence, but that was all I seen, it was all I knew, and it was all I really experienced growing up, you know what I'm saying? So and like I said, that was like my first outlet. That was my first way of really venting and getting it out. I think if I didn't start rapping, I would have had a bunch of bottled up emotions and bottled up anger inside me that I really, didn't even, I didn't know that it was just building up. It was a way for me to like channel into my emotions, you know what I'm saying? If it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's dope that you were able to afford like therapy for so many people. Like that's one big barrier that I feel like in the Black community we have. Like we don't know what's
Yeah.
out there and also expensive to go to therapy.
Yeah.
So it seems like, you really feel tied to like helping the youth understand mental health. For you, like how old were you when you first realized like what I'm experiencing isn't normal or like maybe I do need to go talk to someone?
Right. And you know, I said this again like recently. I didn't like it wasn't my idea. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't my idea to like start going to therapy. I was stuck in Chicago, and I think that was 2019, almost 2020 or something like that. I was fighting a case while I got arrested for carrying a gun in Chicago. And I'm an open book, I'm not gonna lie. I was just talking to my lawyer and just telling him like I've been feeling this way since I was a kid, like since I was 15 years old. I never really felt safe like leaving out of my house without a gun on me, you know. And at the time, I couldn't afford to have like 24-hour security like I do now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I wasn't leaving out the house looking to go and hurt somebody or go and commit a crime, but I was trying to ensure my safety to make sure that I was making it back home to my family. And he told me like, man, I think you should go, you know, talk to somebody, talk to a professional. And I did, and it was something that I actually, you know, I ain't gonna say I enjoyed it, but I needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like so many people look up to you for so many reasons. And I'm sure, like, now being a dad, you also have kids that are looking up to you. So, like, how has being a parent kind of shaped your mental health or changed it in some way?
Um, I mean, for me, being a parent is like the most unselfish, purest form of just, you know what I'm saying, love. So I, it's not about me anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm always thinking about the best interest of my kids. I'm always thinking about making it home to my kids, ensuring my kids' safety, ensuring my safety to make sure that I'm always in their life, and you know, and making sure that I'm in the best space, like you know what I'm saying, like you said, the best space mentally, so I'm able to be, you know, the best version of myself and be the best father, you know, and I try not to hold on to too much. I try to like release as much, you know, the energy I absorb around me on a day-to-day basis, so I
For
could
sure.
only pour positivity like into my kids, you know.
Nah.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely hard with like being a parent, everything going on in social media, being in the music industry,
Right.
like, protecting your peace, I feel like is extremely, extremely difficult, especially as you get older.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you can't. It's not a. It's not a coincidence, you know. Like I don't believe in coincidences. Like what I mean is like the way we feel and the things that we experience is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a reason why you feeling that way. So people have to always be like in tune with their emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times people ignore what they feeling, and then you go on months and years and you never really like get a lot of that off your plate, you know what I'm saying? And it take a
Yeah.
toll on you, you know. So I try to just, you know, just be aware of what I'm feeling as much as possible so I could just, you know, feel better, basically.
Yeah.
And like, speaking of just being a parent, right? You wear many hats and including, being a parent. So America's Safe School Week is from October 20th to the 26th. And, that week focuses on creating safe environments in school buildings. So given how much time that your kids spend in school, what are some ways that school has or has not been safe for you?
Um School wasn't really safe for me at all, I'm not gonna lie. Uh that was one of the reasons why I dropped out of school.
Mm,
And my mom, like literally my mom came to my school and spoke with my dean. And I was doing music at the time, of course, but it wasn't a guarantee that I was gonna be who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like my dean told my mom, like, you know, he got potential. I think you should just really let him focus on, you know, being an artist because coming here every day really not gonna be beneficial to him. I think if he got something, you know, if he got something good, you know, just let him chase his dreams because people were like dying in my school every other week, like
yeah.
literally in my high school in the um in the dean's office. So for instance, say if you come to school late and they wouldn't let you go until like your first or second period. You would have to like go into the dean's office into the bell ring, then go to your next period when everyone in the hall, like everyone in the school, are like roaming the hallways. So in the room that you were waiting in with the dean, it was a wall, and like you know how you take your ID picture, and it was full of people who died in our school, and it was from literally to fill the whole wall up. So people in my school were dying every other day, like every other week. You know, like it was never really safe to go to school. People got shot at my school like the first week, like freshman orientation. Like people were getting shot in front of the school, people getting shot on the way home from school, on the bus stop, you know. So it was never safe at all. Like, and I was experiencing that from my very first day of high school. And I was experiencing people dying when I in junior high school, like my 8th grade year, 7th grade year. I personally had friends that had already died and had already been shot. So it was never safe, you know, and that's just the reality of growing up where I come from, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, like PTSD, everybody knows PTSD is real. It could have been a point where I didn't want to go to school. I was scared to go to school because I'm afraid of what's going to happen. A lot of people felt like that, and it was normal. You know, like it's not, people don't have the resources to just be homeschooled. People don't have the resources to just not go to school. People don't have the resources that other people have in a lot of these, you know, nicer areas or rich areas, or you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better term. I come from a poverty stricken neighborhood. I come from an urban, ghetto, violent, rural community, you know what I'm saying? So people dying left and right where I come from, and it's normal, you know, and people still wanna chase their dreams. People still want to be athletes. People still want to go to college. People still want to do a lot of things where it's like you got to put yourself in the line of fire just to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have no resources. We don't have nobody trying to really help us, you know, overcome any of this stuff. So the way I came up, it was tough, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed to
I,
be able to just make it out of it.
I believe